Preparing. All right, looks like we are good. Hey guys, welcome to another Hot Topic Tuesday. We've got Trish and April here, and today we have a really awesome topic for you guys. Really quick, we are going to talk about the top 5 inflammatory foods that you would want to kind of avoid and why. And we're going to talk more, not specifically. We're not going to really pick on like specific foods, but we're going to talk more about like overall like categories. So, kind of those top 5 inflammatory food categories that we'd like to avoid or limit, most of the time, just for better health and digestion and weight loss. And I'll get into the benefits right now since we're kind of already going there. All right, so benefits of avoiding these foods. Really, it's to reduce inflammation. If you go back a few months, we had several Hot Topic Tuesdays where we talk specifically about inflammation and how that is one of the number one things kind of holding back from better health, fat loss, just improved metabolic markers, all the things, hormone function. I mean, we could go on and on. Inflammation is a big issue.
I started to say, I just want to add inflammation is like the major contributor to chronic disease as a whole. It's just it's just chronic for a lot of people, and it's just such a major problem. So
Absolutely. So we do spend a lot of time talking to our clients about how to reduce inflammation in their body for better health, and we just want to share all of that with you. Okay, so obviously lower levels of inflammatory markers do reduce your risk of chronic disease. That is first and foremost probably one of the most important things that you'd want to, really watch some of these foods for and food categories. Reducing inflammation improves our gut health, so we can have a healthier gut microbiome, better digestion. That will have you feeling better day to day, and just improve your health overall. Better hormone balance. So reduce inflammation can help improve our hormonal health. And this is particularly important to our perimenopausal friends like ourselves. So that one is super important. And all of this kind of leads to like better weight management. So, because a lot of the foods that are inflammatory, our body are more processed. Oftentimes, they are higher in calories and they're low in nutrients. So, they just don't do a ton for us overall. So, avoiding these foods or, really limiting them can definitely lead to fat loss, weight loss, and improve overall health. And those things too, if you do have some excess body fat that it would be healthier to kind of, reduce that. That will in turn lead to that lower level of inflammation and, improve your risk for diseases. All right, so let's kind of pop into the categories of food. I'm going to touch on 2 of them, and April's going to take over from there. So the first one is sugar and high fructose corn syrup. So why do we want to avoid these? These sweeteners are major contributors to chronic inflammation. Excessive sugar intake can lead to insulin resistance, obesity, and diabetes. And all of these, conditions are linked to inflammation. Sugar can also just increase or promote our inflammatory cytokines. So that's like another thing that's going to lead to extra inflammation there. The second one is our artificial trans fats. And it was interesting because before we started, April and I were like, you don't hear that much about trans fats as much. I think that while, we do work with like a general population, we do work with people that have, really do have a good health eating mindset. So they're already limiting their fried foods, and things like that. So it's not something you just, hear about as readily. I think most people are good about this one, but just to touch on it, trans fats are found in many of the processed foods, like your fried foods and, your real yummy, sugary sweets and treats that are very processed that you can get at the store. The ones that they kind of make us, want more of them. But trans fats increase our bad cholesterol. So your LDL cholesterol, if you've had some lab markers where that's showing up not as great and your HDL is coming in lower, that, take a look and see if you're kind of sneaking in some trans fats in your diet and, think about avoiding or limiting those. So the imbalance in those two leads to increased inflammation and a higher risk of heart disease. Trans fats also promote systemic inflammation because they also activate a lot of our, pro-inflammatory body, systems and pathways. So super good to avoid those if you aren't already. And like I said, I feel like most people do a pretty good job there, but they can be kind of sneaky. So, if you find yourselves like doing fried foods a lot or some of those processed sweets and treats, that's where those trans fats are hanging out. So, switching, to non-seed oils is a good idea. Butter over margarine, just making some switches like that can be great. Baked things over fried, that one I think we do a pretty good job of, but, could always be worth taking a look. So you can improve the HDL, lower the LDL, and kind of get that balance a little bit better for your overall health. All right, you want to take over?
Yep. So the third one is refined carbohydrates. And refined carbohydrates, foods like white bread, pastries, and other refined carbs, they can cause rapid spikes in blood sugar levels. Now, these spikes can lead to an increase in inflammatory markers contributing to chronic inflammation. Now, also refined carbs have a high glycemic index, which is linked to higher levels of C-reactive protein, which is a kind of textbook marker of inflammation. So, if you've had some labs done recently, take a look at your labs and look at the CRP, the C-reactive protein on your lab work and see if that's elevated. And if it is, kind of take a step back and ponder, like, have I been, you know, is my diet heavily on refined carbs? So kind of lean a little bit more towards complex sources. And you're always looking for things that have fiber or just foods in general that provide more nutrients. So a lot of things like white bread, just plain white rice, things that just strictly convert to sugar are not going to have a whole lot of nutrients to them. So number four is processed and overdoing red meats. And these meats, so the process and over relying or doing a little bit too much red meats contain high levels of saturated fats, and they also have what is called AGEs, which is advanced glycation end products. Those AGEs are compounds that form when protein or fat combine with sugar in the bloodstream, which can actually lead to oxidative stress and inflammation. Um, Additionally, processed meats often contain added preservatives and chemicals that can further promote inflammation. From a processed meat standpoint, it's funny, I've been like lately, I've been doing a lot of food sensitivity testing with the GI map, and it seems like I'm going to say 85% of the clients that I've tested have actually tested positive for it's like a basically it's called a meat glue, which sounds absolutely disgusting, but it is found in overly processed deli meats. So if you're going for deli meats and some of the processed things, kind of lean towards some of the meats like boar's head, the nitrate free, preservative free. You want this. You want the choices of the things that don't have all the added chemicals and preservatives and all that. If you've got something.
Oh, I was going to say too, have you heard of the listeria outbreak also with some of the deli meats? It came up on a news feed last week that there's been two deaths, listeria deaths, kind of, with some of the deli meats. I didn't go in depth to see from, but
So a clear example of talking about the preservatives and things is it's scary. It's scary the chemicals, but it's scary the science, that is used to preserve the longevity of food, or to be able to grow it bigger and although that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, my son Thomas, he just turned 19 on Sunday, but I remember when he was like little back, back when like Happy Meals were like $1.99. Now of course I don't even know how much they are now. Probably like four times the amount, who knows. But anyway, I remember back then I don't even know what the options are now, but you could get like the nuggets or a burger with, you could choose a side, and we would always choose the apples, and you choose either the milk or the juice, and choose like the organic apple juice. But anyway, long story short, the apple slices. We had chose the apple slices with Happy Meal, and I remember looking at it, and the date on those apples was literally like 10 months old. It was 10 months old. And I looked at my husband and I was like, that is crazy that these apple slices that were already cut up still look like they're fresh and healthy and they expired 10 months ago. That is
Oh,
scary.
yes.
Anyway, the last one, number 5, is vegetable and seed oils. They are high in omega-6 fatty acids, and oils such as soybean oil, corn oil, and sunflower oil can contribute to an imbalance in the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, because that's kind of the important thing, is the ratio of the two. This imbalance basically leads to inflammation, and omega-6 fatty acids are pro-inflammatory, and when consumed in excess without sufficient omega-3s to balance, they promote inflammatory processes within the body. So overall, read your labels, avoid the big hitters, the main ones, and read your labels and just look and see, when you're making a choice, look and see, like, is this choice that I'm making right now, is this going to provide my body with nutrients, or is it going to, you know, taste really, really delicious in the moment, and obviously, we have a big, belief on all things in moderation. But if you're choosing those things more often than not, then chances are you're probably dealing with a high level of inflammation. So with that being said, hopefully this was helpful, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye.